Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 7:07 on News Talk 105.9 WMAL. It is a Friday the 13th. And it's your girl, Patrice Onwuka. I'm in for Larry O'Connor, and I've got Larry O'Connor's mentor right by my side today.
You.
I'm taking notes, too. Sean Spicer. Good morning, Sean.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad. I mean, Larry. Remember, it's Larry. I know you're listening. It's not a day off. You're supposed to be studying, learning, taking notes, and improving. So,
all right. It sounds like there's going to be a test at the end of this.
Multiple. Yeah, and it's not multiple choice.
All right. Our guest this morning, 7:35, Ryan Hurd. He's a mayor from Pequannock Township in New Jersey, talking about these mysterious drones. At 8:15, Bram Weinstein is going to be joining us to preview this weekend's Commanders game. And at 8:35, our friend Brett Baer from Fox News will round out our week. But right now, we're happy to welcome Nicole Neily, who is the president and founder of Parents Defending Education. She is here to give us some explosive numbers on the amount of DEI funding going out of the Department of Education. Good morning, Nicole. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for Parents Defending Education for putting together, quantifying all of the grants that have been going out from the Biden administration over the past almost 4 years now to states, including here in Virginia, Maryland, and D.C., to promote this pernicious, divisive, terrible idea of DEI programming. Can you talk to us about what you found and all of this investigation?
Absolutely. My incredible coworkers identified over $1 billion, like you said, that have gone to DEI-linked grants over the past 4 years. And let's remember, this is at a time when approximately 40% of American students cannot read at a basic level. And so our education department is really, they're frittering money away, hardworking American tax dollars, on these programs that not only don't help people, they actually actively hurt people. A recent study from the Network Contagion Research Institute found that these programs, DEI programs, actually cause psychological harm and increase hostility towards groups labeled as oppressors. Surprise, surprise. And so this money is not helping children read, not helping make up the learning loss from the Biden-Harris's school closures. It's hurting our children. It is appalling.
Well, and hey, go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, how did you guys – I couldn't believe it when I saw that number, $1 billion. So how does this span throughout – like how wide and far is this?
Yeah, so this is just grants that the Department of Education has given out to various projects. And so, it's for student projects, it's for or student-directed things, it's for teacher and training, and it's also at the university level. And this is, let's remember, this is only scratching the surface. I'm sure there is so much out there, but as Elon and Vivek start to look at places to cut, I mean, I think back to 2008 when it was drill, baby, drill. We are entering the era of cut, baby, cut, and I cannot wait.
Well, I just looking at some numbers you've put together here. In Virginia, Fairfax County Public Schools received $2.4 million. Maryland here, I see some schools here in Maryland. For example, Coppin State University, $1.8 million, $4.9 million to the Mid-Atlantic Equity Consortium Incorporated. That sounds like a private company. D.C., we have here a number of schools, George Washington, Columbia, Basin College, AU. I mean, I think the big takeaway here that we're finding, and we're speaking with Nicole Neily, the founder of Parents Defending Education, is that there's a ton of money to be made by exploiting race in education, regardless of the outcomes. How can we stop this? Is this money just gone? Are there grants in the pipeline that maybe can be stopped by the incoming Trump administration?
Yeah, most of this stuff is gone. Unfortunately, we did look back, going back to 2021 when the Biden team came in. But I think it's important to remember that, as the landing teams start to get in, some of these programs, they have to put out things into the Federal Register about how they want to use grant programs going forward. I remember in 2021, when they came in, the Biden team tried to hijack a civics grant program, intended to teach children about America. And they had put into the grant proposal, recommended readings or things that they would like, included 1619 Project and Ronna DiAngelo. So we helped about 8,000 people send in letters through the Federal Register saying, over my dead body, let's use the money to actually teach kids about America. And so I think there's going to be not only stopping some of the bad stuff, but then also really making sure that any money that goes out the door going forward is used for good purposes.
Now, you mentioned, Sean, did you have a follow-up on that?
No. It's stunning how like you mentioned Vivek and the Doge effort. I'm like, every time you mention one of these, my mind is blown.
It's heartbreaking because, our kids are now making up this learning loss. This virtue signaling that's happening in schools is, kids really are learning everything except reading, writing, and, how to be good people.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
Well, Nicole, do you have a sense? Let's put this money in context of outcomes. $1 billion. Are we seeing any improvements even with these targeted, racially motivated programs? And also, there seems to be a lot of money towards DEI hiring, bloating these administrative departments in schools. What are the outcomes here?
The outcomes are abysmal. These programs have been proven to not work. Let's think about the restorative justice stuff that they're doing, right? This is under the guise of breaking the school to prison pipeline. You know what? It turns out that having kids go to the principal's office and sing Kumbaya doesn't disincentivize kids from punching their teachers in the face. Or even the euphemisms about, increasing educator diversity. When your program, let's flip black and white. If your program would pass muster with the KKK, you're doing it wrong.
Yikes.
We should not be hiring or giving out money to teachers, schools, or anybody else on the basis of skin color. We believe in merit. We believe in excellence. And this is something that the Trump people believe in, but obviously the Biden-Harris people just want to give out a racial spoil system. It is heartbreaking to think about the things that our children have gone through over the past 4 years. I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. That's time that they can't make up.
Yeah.
That's learning that, that they have. Statistics show if you don't know how to read by the time you're in 3rd grade, your prospects for future success are greatly diminished. That's what we have set American children up for. That is the Biden legacy, and it is sickening.
Well, when I think about, as we're wrapping up, the Supreme Court has weighed in on affirmative action, striking down affirmative action in elite colleges' acceptance processes. And I think that filters down to every level. And in the private sector, we've seen DEI on the run. We're seeing Republican states pass legislation to stamp out DEI programs and hiring in state-funded schools. And so is it fair to say that this is going to be the end of all of this radical DEI funding and programming now that the Biden administration is out and we have an incoming Trump administration? Or is this money, or are these people going to be sheltered and shifted to other positions in other ways?
I think that phrase, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, is really applicable here because we're watching these people retrench, rebrand. It's not the DEI department, it's the belonging department, it's the Justice Department, right? And so, we're all going to have to keep an eye out. I think there have to be a lot of whistleblowers that come forward over the next couple of years because these people are not giving up without a fight. But we know that not only do we have the Constitution on our side, we have, this is the morally right thing to do. As Chief Justice Roberts said, the best way to stop discriminating on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. So shame on these administrators, but we have a very clear roadmap going forward on how to get things back on track.
Perfect. That is a great way to end. Thank you so much, Nicole Neily. This
Thanks,
report
Nicole.
is absolutely wonderful. Go to X Defending Ed on X.com or follow you on X as well. Folks should just go through and see the ridiculousness that we are spending our tax dollars on. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Live.
From the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios.
Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Oh, here we go. That music Sean Spicer means
I
it
see
is
that
time
one
to
coming.
talk about the paranormal.
I guess
The aliens. And I'm glad we have you here today because...
Hey, that's quite a segue, Patrice.
Well, no, I didn't finish it. My segue, I'm glad we have you because yesterday the Biden White House was asked about the New Jersey drones. And you have experience in this field of having to respond to some wacky questions on behalf of an administration. And so... Listen, it doesn't look like John Kirby was asked. Actually, let's play this clip. It's about 1:30, but Jackie, I think Jackie Heinrich maybe, or Jackie Time is asking about these drones. We'll see what John Kirby has to say. And I love your
John,
response.
on the drones, does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government produced imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the existing imagery.
Like from people's cell phones that we're seeing? Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat, that there's no reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far, in an investigation that is ongoing, has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity. But, Jackie, I would remind you, we're at the beginning here, not the end. There's a lot more work to be done, and we're working closely with state and local authorities to gain more information. I would argue that we're moving pretty well here with a sense of energy to try to figure out what we can do to learn more about this. We're still in the middle of an ongoing investigation, and I'm up here explaining to you and let you know what we know so far, what we believe so far. If information comes to light that changes that characterization, then my goodness, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign malign activity or, in fact, even criminal.
Sean, was that the right answer?
It may be the only answer, unfortunately. I mean, you remember these geniuses were the same people who didn't recognize a spy balloon from China flying over.
Yes.
But just to be clear, when John Kirby says we're just at the beginning of this, like he's trying to gaslight you. At the we've known at least since November 18th that this was happening, so almost a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's apparently been a consistent thing. It's right near an arsenal in New Jersey where we develop weapons. I can't get my head around how bad this makes us look as a government, that you have drones flying consistently in the same place night after night after night after night. The FBI got asked on Capitol Hill the other day, yes, sir, we don't have anything. John Kirby gets asked there at the White House, well, we're at the beginning of this investigation. Isn't it a little concerning, though, to the residents that the government of the United States, with all the tools and resources and technology that are available to it, for a month has been able to say, gosh, we don't know?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's actually really pathetic. And the idea that they're trying to pretend that this is new information. We're at the beginning of this, Jackie. Like, he's so sanctimonious, as if it's been a month.
As though, why is she asking the question? I go back to, in my mind, Sean, when I hear this answer, we captured Saddam Hussein in 2003, hiding in a hole in the ground under a farmhouse in Iraq. If our military is that bad, fill in the blank, but that good, I mean, we could find these terrorists and murderers under a house in the middle of the desert, and yet we can't figure out what the spy balloons crisscrossing our country are, where they're coming from, or what they're doing, and now we don't know about these drones that are the size of a car. I don't believe it. I think they're lying to us. I think you're right. This is gaslighting, but it's also lying.
Right. So there's really two options. It's either utter incompetence or they're lying. But you have to.
Either way, either one is bad.
Right. Exactly. No. But that's the point. Is that which is it? Because, and the Chinese spy balloon does make me kind of wonder if it's just incompetence. If you allowed that to happen for as long as it did, then a drone, which is obviously a lot quicker, maybe, I don't know. I go back and forth between incompetence and stupidity.
Well, now the question is, are we going to get any further answers once the Biden folks are out? Once John Kirby, I mean, I think he's just saying we're at the start of of this investigation to buy time and buy enough time for him to get out. I'm sure he's probably not going to wait till they shut off the lights and hand the keys over to President Trump. He's probably going to be leaving soon, and I'm sure he doesn't want this to be on his record when he's like trying to get CNN analyst deals and whatever else. So I wonder if we will ever get answers. Thankfully, we've seen Republicans in the House hold these hearings on the extraterrestrials and all of the weird things that are going on in our skies, maybe as Mercedes Schlapp suggested yesterday, coming from Atlantis. But I don't know if we're ever going to find out who owns these drones. So, stay tuned. What's great, we have an upcoming guest here who will give us some more details. One of the mayors in New Jersey, whose township is seeing these drones. He's going to be joining us at 7:30. So he'll tell us what he knows in his first eye witness accounts. But this is going to be one to stick around for. It is 7:23 on O'Connor and Company.
Now
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 7:37, News Talk 105.9 WMAL. It is a Good Friday morning, and it is a Friday the 13th. And I'm yaying because I've got Sean Spicer here with me. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. We've got another hour and a half to ride like the wind. I mean, this is, for those of us who didn't join us at 5, we started with Toto. We're on the Christopher Cross. We are sailing into your weekend.
I love it. I'm learning all about, was it Rock Cross?
Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock. Oh, sorry, Professor. I will get it right. All right. I'm Patrice Onwuka, in for vacationing Larry O'Connor, who's also taking notes from you, from what I understand, is your mentee.
Yes, that was part of the deal. Yeah. Copious notes.
At 8:15, we have Bram Weinstein previewing this weekend's Commanders game. And then at 8:35, our friend from Fox News Channel, Brett Baer, will be here to round out the week. But at this time, we're going to continue with our conversation about, yes, the paranormal, potentially.
Scary.
Our next guest is the mayor of Pequannock Township in New Jersey, Mayor Ryan Hurd. He can provide us some firsthand accounts of what he is seeing, and more importantly, what he is hearing from officials on the ground and in Washington. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I'm sure we're doing better than you because we don't have, flying objects the sizes of SUVs overhead. Tell us about what you and your residents are seeing.
Well, I have to tell you, it's definitely unsettling. As I sit here right now, I'm in my vehicle. It is a beautiful morning across the great state of New Jersey. And I can actually see Manhattan in the distance. And it's just beautiful out. And I just don't see a lot of flying objects or planes. But at night, they all come out. There's hundreds of them all over. Last night, I counted probably 15, give or take, over my town, but there was reports that they were over Fairfield and North Caldwell and all over the northern New Jersey area. And we want answers. What are these? Who is flying them? What's going on? It's not just more planes in the sky. You can't tell me that there is 100 times the amount of flights at night that there is during the day.
So, Mayor, can I just ask, how I found something that said November 18th. This had been, how far back do you put this?
So we had a meeting 2 days ago that was called by Governor Murphy, and it had the state police, it had Homeland Security, it had a whole bunch of really important people in that meeting. And what they were saying is, number one, we don't know anything, so that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. But they were also saying that they have been getting the calls. They have been tracking the calls. They have credible sources saying that, yes, there was a bunch of drones following Coast Guard ship. What the Coast Guard is seeing, we're seeing this across northern New Jersey, but we have no idea what's going on.
So, but how long has this been happening? Is it a month, 2 months?
So as per them, they said they started receiving the calls around February 18th. For me...
Wait,
February?
February, Mayor?
I'm sorry. November 18th.
Oh,
okay.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you. That's what I had heard.
Okay.
All right. So November 18th. But here's what I think is funny, because Patrice played the clip of John Kirby from the White House podium yesterday saying, like, hey, we don't know. Like, how can you tell us we're safe if you don't know?
Well, that's the question. And here's the fundamental question. Is it the good guys or the bad guys? If it's the bad guys, is it nefarious? I mean, like, what is the reason? Are they just trying to give us the big middle finger and say, hey, we can do anything we want over your airspace? Or is it the good guys? And on the good guys side, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we going over these towns in northern New Jersey and whatnot? What's the need? Is it an experiment? I had an interesting conversation with somebody this morning and said, it's most likely the U.S. government. They are doing this, and they're just testing out new technology and whatnot. I said, okay, but then why? Well, they just want to see how people react. We have to do better. I mean, come on. Haven't the days of doing these experiments on people, I thought we were past that. I thought we were supposed to be better humans.
Yeah,
clearly not.
I thought we learned our lesson when it came to the Tuskegee experiments. We're speaking this morning right now with Mayor Ryan Hurd of Pequannock Township in New Jersey. Now, you are a Republican. You're the Republican mayor, but obviously Governor Phil Murphy is a Democrat. Interestingly, though, there are other members in kind of the political class in your state who are calling for the FBI to brief the public, for the governor to be more forthcoming with information. What is Governor Murphy saying? Is he just as clueless as everyone else, or do you think he's sitting on information that he's just not sharing?
Here's the problem with politicians. When you are a mayor or a councilman, you have to be responsible. I'm reminded every day who I work for when they call me up and they ask me, why hasn't my trash get picked up? I have a pothole in front of my house, or any other question that I get. But for some reason, it seems like as you go up the food chain, they tend to forget who they work for, which is we the people. We're tired of these condescending politicians talking down to us. America deserves better. And this is either irresponsible or incompetent on all those levels. We need the federal government to step up and give Phil Murphy what he needs to accomplish his job, which is what is going on over New Jersey.
Hey, Mayor, two questions for you. One, you mentioned this meeting that happened. Were there a lot of other people at the meeting? I mean, obviously, you're not the only elected official that's concerned. And secondly, to Patrice and I, our comment a moment ago, do you think that they know the truth and that they just don't want to share it? Like, in the way that their body language is with you guys, is it like you think, hey, you're just not telling me, or is it pure incompetence?
That is a great question. That's something that I keep on going back and forth on. As far as the meeting, there was about 180 mayors there. Now, just to give you an idea, to get 180 mayors out of 565 towns in New Jersey, that's a pretty good feat, So there's a lot of people that are concerned. Now, who do we think it is? Well, I'll tell you, when we elect our leaders, we're electing them to do a job which is to help us, to have our back. So I am hoping, I am praying that these people have our back. I'm not sure. And as I said before, is it the good guys or is it the bad guys? We have to do better, and I'm demanding answers. And I'm demanding answers now.
Well, Mayor Hurd, we thank you for standing up and demanding some answers. I'm going to put a third category in. Maybe it's the guys from another planet. We'll leave it right there, though, and hopefully we'd love to have you back as you get new intelligence and hear other things that we certainly are not hearing in Washington. But thank you for being on today. Thank
you so much. Maybe E.T. is just trying to fly around and get a signal. I don't know.
E.T.'s trying to come home. All right, it is 7:44, O'Connor and Company.
Miss anything? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Get today's breaking news on the Vince Colonnese Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
Sean, I just want to let that play just a little bit. I love this song.
This is
Romancing the Stone, right?
I don't really. No, this is Romancing the Sean. Because this is, to me, hands down, there's no time when I can't hear this and it puts a smile on my face. It's just.
It's soothing.
It's soothing. It is.
It is soothing.
Listen, just for the record, Christopher Cross is the admiral of yacht rock. Michael McDonald is number 2.
Okay.
But this is the song. You can't have. There is no yacht rock without sailing.
Listen, I used to listen to this song in my dad's backseat when he would pick me up from after school, and I didn't know at a young age that this would be. I was learning about yacht rock even back then. So, all right. Well, we're going to soothe and ease our way into this next topic because we're talking about fat shaming. I couldn't make a good transition there. Whoopi Goldberg, our good friend at The View, ABC's The View, she is taking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to task because he has been criticizing and really moderating his criticism of weight loss drugs, the GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro. In the past, he said, listen, people just need 3 good meals a day to every man, woman, or child, and we'll solve obesity and diabetes overnight. Now, recently, he's kind of moderated, saying, yeah, first line of response should be lifestyle, eating well, don't get obese, and then those GLP drugs, they have a place. So he's making some room. That has set Whoopi Goldberg off. Cut 29, please.
This isn't just about food.
No, it's not.
This is sometimes people are born genetically larger.
Agreed. I didn't mean to.
No, I know you didn't. But I want to say this to
RFK.
RFK? That's his name. Because you're setting folks up for shame.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying. Maybe you don't know you're doing. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say you don't know, you don't realize what you do to people when you say stuff like that, because it doesn't work for everybody. And I'm going to show you, sir, because I weighed close to 300 less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And without the Mounjaro, this would not have happened. There you go.
Take it off. Take it off.
And I try to tell everybody, listen, this worked for me. This may work for y'all. You cannot take it out of people's hands if it can help. Because if we can keep people healthy, if we can get rid of diabetes, if we can get rid of all of the things cardiovascular, what's wrong with trying to do that?
Nothing.
You're wrong on this, R.
All right. So Sean, is Whoopi just trying to get a gig as a spokesperson for Mounjaro? Is that what this is? Like, she's like, listen, and she rips off her top or whatever the case is and exposes her new, like, Ozempic body, which a lot of people are sporting. I don't knock it, but I'm just saying, why is she going so hard against RFK Jr. on this?
I think the point that is getting missed in all this is that we're always looking, and I get that there are a lot of people that are being helped, and God bless them, because I think, again, this is not a segment for 5 minutes, right? There's a bigger talk. But RFK is calling to light that so many times the answer is a pill instead of addressing the underlying issue. And this is not just in this area of medicine, but every time we see this more and more. The answer is, let's not talk about the underlying issues, about eating better, about wellness. It's just, we'll give you a pill. Yeah. And I think that that's getting missed in this discussion. And I'm just glad that we're shining a light on this, because there's so much that's coming out about red dyes, ultra processed foods. And it's because people, listen, I'm one of those guys where I always trusted the government. Hey, the FDA says it's okay. Yeah. The NIH says it's okay. And that's the default, right? Why would they lie? And then you start realizing that almost none of the doctors that I talk to have ever taken a class in nutrition.
Oh, wow.
So, oh yeah. I mean, honestly, just ask a doctor sometimes. Say, how many classes in nutrition did you take? And you'll find over and over again. We had a doctor the other day on the morning meeting that I host, and they were Harvard grad, very, very prominent. And they said, we never took a single class on nutrition. That's the point, is that Whoopi's obviously, her answer is, let's be extreme on whatever you ask me.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I think that and I also just want to call out the fact that when Michelle Obama was the first lady, one of her signature items was getting healthy food and fitness into public schools. And now suddenly, because RFK Jr., who has left the Democratic Party and is working for the Trump administration, will be suddenly, no, we got to bash him. And of course, we have these drugs. I'm not against them. If they work, that's good. But your point is 100% taken. If you are like many of us who are predisposed because of family history, you have to actually work harder. And the drugs are a help, but they're not the only way. And if we're only relying on the drugs, we're setting ourselves up for failure.
Yeah, and Patrice, like I said, this is a much longer. But the point is that there are some negatives to them as well in terms of losing muscle versus fat. Yeah. And the problem is that we as Americans are conditioned to go for the quick fix every time. I get it. It's not an either or, like you either have them or you don't. But I think that we keep forgetting the underlying causes of a lot of these problems. And that's what RFK, I think, is highlighting.
it looks like Elon Musk has revealed some support for drugs like Ozempic. So we'll see what happens. This will not be solved between the two of us. But I think this was a fun segment. At least
you don't think the two of us can solve this?
I don't. I don't have that much confidence in myself.
Me neither.
All right.
I was open on you.
It is 7:55.